We didn't have a lot to eat. My dad made only about $50 a week at the most his whole life, and how he did that with 10 kids, I don't know. But my dad never complained, and it's amazing how my mother put food on the table, and all of us didn't live there at the same time because, you know, some of them got old and they left and got married and all that, but we always had several to eat there. But a lot of times my dad would walk in from work and walk home from Belt Liggets, which is probably about 3 miles every day, back and forth, 6 miles. And he'd walk in sometimes and take his hat off like this and say hello to everybody. And my mother would kind of step back away from the table and shake her head like this. And my dad would say, "I don't feel very good. I'm not very hungry tonight." So what my mother's telling him, there's not enough food for him. So he'd go out on the back porch and sit, and we never knew it or never thought anything about it until, you know, as we got older. One of my chores was to clean out the garage, and we had a coal bin there where we had coal for the fireplaces. We had a fireplace in each room, a little pot stove, and we put wood in it. When we could afford it, we put coal in there. So one day my dad told me, says, "When you get back from school, I want you to clean this garage out." I said, "Okay." So I got back from playing football, basketball, whatever it was, and I got home and I said, "Oh, I better go clean that garage out." So I went in there and started sweeping it out and picking up the coal, moving it over, and just checking everything out, dusting it, getting the rats and everything out of there. And so my dad comes home, and I forgot about it. He said, "Did you clean out the garage today?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Okay, let's go check it out." So he goes in there and he looks around. He had on a long sleeve shirt like this, and he took his shirt and rolled up his sleeves like this. He says, "Go over and sit on that bench." I said, "Yes, sir. Why?" He said, "I'm going to show you how to clean a garage." He got down on his hands and knees, and he worked and worked and worked. And I'll never forget, he said, "If you're going to do something one time, do it right. The first time, do it the best way you know how, and nobody will never complain." And I never forgot that all the rest of my life. We didn't have little leagues back in those days, and so we just started forming our own teams. And for some reason, I was the one doing it because I wanted to play so bad, and I had to. And we didn't have telephones. Very seldom had a telephone, so I had to go to the guy's house to get them to play. And we'd find a certain field where we could play. They wouldn't bother us. And most of the time, I was a bat boy for the Durham Bulls, where Bull Durham was, and I was the bat boy there. That was our high school stadium. But I was a bat boy there young, and what I got for being a bat boy all day, 2 or 3, 4 hours, they'd give me a broken bat or an old practice ball. That's what we took to the playing field to play. And I used to I was pretty good at that. When the bat was always broken, I'd take these little tacks about this long and tack it all around, and then we'd take that masking tape and all that the black tape, and put around the bat. And everybody would play with it. Both sides would play with it. And if it broke, we'd stop the game and fix it again. And we had maybe one. If you did have 2 balls, that was a plus. And then with the ball, if you play with a baseball long enough, the cover's going to come off of it. And we played with it long enough, and the cover would come off, and I'd throw the cover away, and then I'd take the tape and wrap the ball up. And we would play with that the rest of the day. And everybody didn't have gloves. And sometimes I played shortstop without a glove. And that's not a bad way to teach young kids to play. I was playing in junior high school, which was 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. And the senior high was 10th, 11th, and 12th. I don't know if they do that now, whatever. And I was in junior high school. I was in the 8th grade, and they called me up to play on the varsity high school team. And it was only about 3 or 4 blocks away. It was across the football field to go over there and practice. And I was on the high school baseball team playing third base, I think, when I was in the 9th grade. And then I went to high school. I played basketball all the time. I didn't play football. I played football in junior high school, but they made me quit because I was so skinny. Thought I was going to get hurt. But I played basketball, and I love basketball. I was a better basketball player than I was baseball, but I loved baseball the most. And then I went to high school in basketball. I was the captain of the team and made the all-state team, and I was second in North Carolina in scoring one year. And so then we had another pitcher named Julius Moore who signed with the Yankees the same year I signed with the Dodgers, and he was the best pitcher in the state. And they didn't really know much about me as a pitcher because I played shortstop most of the time, but how the scouts saw me, they'd come to see him pitch a lot, and he couldn't pitch. You know, we played 2 or 3 games a week. He couldn't pitch all the time, so I would pitch once in a while, and sometimes I'd pitch pretty good, and so they start to follow me. And, you know, people write, even nowadays, they say, well, I got a kid down in so-and-so in Bisay or wherever it might be, and then he can be, but nobody comes to see him. I said, if you're good enough, they're going to find you, because all the scouts on every major league club have bird dog scouts, which could be a high school coach or a college coach, and they alert them about so-and-so down here, over there down that cornfield. He's a good player. Go take a look at him. So if you're good enough, they're going to find you. After I graduated from high school, I was torn between playing baseball and going to college on a basketball scholarship, and I wanted to go to Duke University, which was 2 miles from where I was living, but they offered me a scholarship, and one reason because my uncle was the dean, but they checked me out and my grades wasn't good enough, so I went to North Carolina State on a basketball scholarship, which is only 20 miles away in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I played on the basketball team, the freshman team, and we had a good team, and I hurt my ankle the first game before the first game was ever played, the last practice, so I didn't play for a couple of months, and it was like a broken ankle, and anyway, I played the last quarter against Maryland. I'll never forget it. I scored 14 points, and I went on from there. We only had about 5 or 6 more games and played pretty well, and now baseball season come around, and Vic Sorrell, Sorrel, was the baseball coach, and he had used to play for the Detroit Tigers, and he was very anxious to get me to play on the baseball team, and I got a whim. I wanted to go play professional baseball, and I told my dad, I said, Dad, I want to drop out of college and go play professional baseball. I got a chance to sign. And he said, you got to be crazy. You got a full scholarship. We don't have to pay. I can't afford to pay for you. And you're not going to take it? You need a scholarship before you can get a good job. And anyway, I talked him into it because he said he was working on a farm in Mebane, North Carolina, a little town, and his dad wouldn't let him go to play professional baseball. So anyway, I say going to college interfered with my education, so I went on to stay in baseball for over 50 years.